What if the atomic bomb was never dropped on Japan? It's 1962, and the Cuban Missile Crisis just went nuclear. Not because of Cuba, because of Hokkaido. The Soviet state of North Japan, established 15 years earlier when Stalin's troops beat MacArthur to the island, has just launched a ballistic missile from Sapporo. And none of it would have happened if one American president had made a different phone call on the 4th of August, 1945. By the summer of 1945, the Pacific War has been going for nearly 4 years. Japan has lost the Philippines, Okinawa, and most of its navy, but it hasn't surrendered. The Japanese military code of Bushido treats surrender as the ultimate disgrace, and the High Command means it. The United States is already planning Operation Downfall, a 2-phase invasion of the Japanese home islands. Military planners estimate the operation could cost between 250,000 and 1 million American lives. Japanese casualties, military and civilian, could run into the millions. Meanwhile, on the other side of Asia, the Soviet Union has agreed to enter the Pacific War within 90 days of Germany's defeat. Germany fell in May. The clock is running. The Manhattan Project has just produced 2 working atomic bombs. The decision on their use lands on President Truman's desk. On August 6, 1945, the Enola Gay takes off from Tinian Island, and the mission is scrubbed. Bad weather over Hiroshima. The crew turns back. A postponement, then another. Then a memo circulates in Washington. Can we afford the political cost of being the nation that incinerated a city? The bombs are stood down, indefinitely. So, what changes? August 8, 1945. Right on schedule, the Soviets declare war on Japan and launch a massive invasion of Manchuria. This part happens with or without the bomb. Stalin's army tears through Japanese defenses in days. Japan still doesn't surrender. The peace faction in Tokyo pushes hard for negotiations. The military hardliners push back harder. Without the psychological shock of an atomic strike, the emperor's intervention is slower and messier. November 1945. Operation Downfall begins. 200,000 American troops land on Kyushu, Japan's southernmost main island. The fighting is brutal. Japan has stockpiled 12,000 kamikaze aircraft for exactly this moment. Casualties mount by the week. Back in Washington, the pressure to end the war, anyway, at any cost, is deafening. And then, something changes the math entirely. The Soviets, already rolling through Manchuria and Korea, set their sights north. On the 12th of November, Soviet forces cross from Sakhalin Island and land on Hokkaido. They weren't supposed to. The agreement was that the Soviets would stay out of the main islands. But the agreement assumed a quick Japanese surrender. There hasn't been one. And Stalin is not known for honoring the spirit of agreements. Truman faces an impossible choice. Divert forces to push the Soviets off Hokkaido while simultaneously fighting the costliest ground war since Normandy in Kyushu. He doesn't have the troops, he doesn't have the political will, and he doesn't have a bomb, because the decision was made to shelve it. By January 1946, Japan is collapsing, but not uniformly. American forces control most of Kyushu and are pushing toward Honshu. Soviet forces control all of Hokkaido and the northern tip of Honshu. The emperor finally issues a surrender order in March. But here's the problem. 2 powers are occupying Japan, and neither one trusts the other. The Peace Conference in San Francisco 1946 produces a compromise nobody is happy with. Japan is divided, almost exactly along the 38th meridian. American Japan, Soviet Japan. It sounds absurd. It isn't. It's exactly what happened to Germany. It's exactly what's happening to Korea at this same moment. The American South rebuilds fast. The Marshall Plan equivalent flows in. Tokyo becomes a capitalist miracle, same as our timeline. The Soviet North is a different story. A communist government is installed in Sapporo. Farmland is collectivized. The fishing industry, Hokkaido's lifeblood, is nationalized. Refugees stream south across the new border until it closes. By 1948, there are two Japans. And now the nuclear question, which you might think was resolved by not dropping the bomb, gets much, much worse. The Soviets detonate their first atomic bomb in 1949, same year as our timeline. They had spies inside the Manhattan Project regardless. But now, without Hiroshima and Nagasaki as cautionary examples, the taboo against nuclear use is softer. No one has seen what a bomb does to a city. No one has the photographs. No one has the survivors. By the 1950s, East Asia looks nothing like our world. Korea is still divided. The Korean War still happens in 1950. But now, American forces are fighting with a divided Japan at their back. North Soviet Japan is a staging ground for Soviet weapons flowing into North Korea. The war drags longer. China goes communist in 49, same as our timeline. But the alliance between Soviet Hokkaido, North Korea, and Mao's China forms a bloc that makes the Cold War in Asia genuinely terrifying. The Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962 still happens. But this time, the Soviets have a second card to play: North Japan. Missiles in Sapporo are closer to Seattle than missiles in Cuba are to Miami. In our timeline, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were the argument against ever using nuclear weapons again. The photographs, the shadows burned into concrete, the survivors. In this one, that argument was never made. So next time someone asks if dropping the bomb was the right call, remember, in the world where it wasn't, North Japan exists. The nuclear taboo doesn't. And Seattle is in missile range of Sapporo. History rarely offers clean moral victories. It usually offers two terrible options and a deadline. Truman had both. The bomb was the deadline. If this made you think, hit like and subscribe for a new What If history every week. Drop your next What If question in the comments below. We read every single one.